Hello everybody, good morning to one and all. I am Kranth and I am from APSSDC and I will be taking you English classes. So when I speak about English and communication classes, first most important thing that you have to remember is how should you communicate with people and how should you develop your communication when you are talking with somebody. So yes, we have been learning so many things, and yesterday we have been learning about the contractions and what are there in the contractions. So when I speak about contractions, we have something that can be mixed, mixing of words and pronouncing the words in one way is called contractions. We have two different words which can be merged together and pronounced is also a contraction. So when we speak about contractions, if you can see slide, yes, we have been learning about contractions. In contractions, yes, we have been learning about how actually contractions exist. It's basically an abbreviation version of words. Basically, if you can see don't, we have do not, and yes, we have been learning about contractions. So people, when I speak about communication especially, you have to also concentrate on questionnaires, you also have to concentrate on so many things. So you just have to remember one important thing here, how exactly you are pronouncing the words. So when I speak about contractions and its importance, make sure you just give me the valuable advice, or make sure you give somebody the valuable advice to make sure this is most important when you are talking with somebody. So now when I speak about contractions and its importance, let us keep the contractions. Yes, it's basically an abbreviated version of so many things. So before I go ahead with communication skills and their classes, today I just want to tell you about what are the things that will make our communication more better. All right. So to go forward and speak about what is that thing makes our communication more better, is we have another thing, that is active voice and passive voices in our communication. So when I speak about active voice and passive voice, the same sentence which got two proper meanings, or when you have a particular situation where you are having a conversation in two different perspectives. So let us see the slide here once again. We have sugarcane is raised by some people in Hawaii. So this is the passive. So how can you make it into active? We have been learning about active voices and passive voices. So if you can see here, the two kings are singing the treaty. This is active. The treaty is being sung by the two kings. So this is passive. No one responded to my sales ad. Active voice. My sales ad was not responded by anyone. Passive. Who are the last cookie? Or you can say, who ate the last cookie? The last cookie was eaten by whom? Alex posted the video on Facebook. The video was posted on Facebook by Alex. So now let us go with the assignment. So let us convert these sentences into passive voice. The science class viewed the comet. Alright. So how can you make it active? The comet was being viewed by the science class. So this is a active voice that I have converted. So now passive voice, you have again a passive voice. Susan will bake 2 dozen cupcakes for the bake sale. So now let us convert it into active voice. For the bake sale, 2 dozen cups will be baked by Susan. And now we have another passive voice. The wedding planner is making all the reservations. We have basically this sentence. So here in this sentence, just put this in front and this in the last. The reservations are being or are made by, or the reservation is made by the wedding planner. As simple as it is. The director will give you instructions. The instructions will be given by the director. Thousands of tourists view the Grand Canyon every year. Grand Canyon is viewed by thousands of tourists. The home owners remodeled the house to help it sell. So here we have so many things. You can say, to help it sell, the home owners remodel their house. The team will celebrate their victory tomorrow. Tomorrow, the victory will be celebrated by the team. See how easy it is? It's just that you have to make sure in the active voice, this is going to be here and this is going to be there. That's all. So now, let's turn this into active voices. In Hawaii, some people raise sugar cane. So this is how you convert the first thing into the passive voice. I mean active voice, I'm sorry. So these are all our passive voices where you have to convert them into active voices. Now we have the second one. The baby was carried by the kangaroo in her pouch. The kangaroo carries the baby in her pouch. And now we have passive voice. The metal beams were eventually corroded by the salt water. Simple. Salt water yes, you can say, salt water is basically corroded by eventually with the metal beams. You can also say that. The victory will be celebrated by the team tomorrow, as you can see. Tomorrow, the victory or tomorrow team will celebrate their victory. Tomorrow team will celebrate their victory is a passive voice. A letter was written to Jamie by Sam. You can say Jam or Jamie or Jimmy have written a letter, or Sam have written a letter to Jimmy. Yes, Sam have written a letter to Jimmy. A new bridge was built by the government. The government have built a new bridge. This is a active voice. It is recommended that you apply for this position. You can basically say this position is recommended for you to apply. Good thing. So these are some of the active voice and the passive voice. This will help you in having a good conversation in particular situations, especially knowing about the situation what you are into, and having the conversation would obviously give you a good experience in understanding the customers and the clients that you are talking to. So this is one of the best things that you can remember. So next we'll move on with the next amazing lesson in the conversations. Questioners. The questioners are some of the most important thing that you have to remember, especially what. When I say questioners, basically you have to remember what, who, why. W starting words in the questions will help you a lot in having a conversation, because to put up a question quick, these will help you out. So let us see some of the examples that we have in the sentences using what. In sentences using what, we have what's this? What did she say? What did you buy? I know what to do. What's the sound? What does this mean? What is the problem? I know what you mean. Tell me what happened. What did the doctor say? What are you two doing? Ask her what she bought. What a beautiful flower. What are you looking at? What an interesting book. What does this word mean? So people, here are few of the what sentences that we have been seeing on the slide. So these situations, whenever you have situations to put up a question at particular point, you can use these sentences using what, because this will obviously try to have a vice versa conversation which helps you in conversion with others. Like you can basically have a conversation with people by asking these questions, because if the other person is really not talking, you can basically tell, or you can basically ask them, tell me what happened. What is the problem? See, if you can see, if somebody is not talking with you, or if somebody is really not able to talk outside, you go to them and say, tell me what happened. What is the problem? This will make obviously a good conversation. All right, so this will help you in understanding at what particular time can make the audience talk with you at situations. So these are one of the most important things that you have to remember whenever I speak about the what. What is one of the big used words that almost in every sentences we have what which is being used. Even if you say, if somebody have uttered something unwanted at you, so what do you say? What did you just say? What did you just say? What did you just say? Obviously this will help you understanding and communicating in a right way, because what is an amazing word that starts and creates an amazing sentences. All right, so let us see more words or more sentences with what. What's your daughter name? I don't know what to do next. What do you have in your bag? Be careful about what you eat. What is the price of this cap? What subject do you like best? What are you going to do today? Listen carefully to what I say. I can't make out what she said. What did you do with that car? Please write down what he says. Please write down what he says. Can't you guess what I'm doing? It's a question mark. Can't you guess what I'm doing? What kind of work do you do? Or what kind of work will you do? I wonder what happened to her. So people, whenever I speak about what and the sentences that are being used by what, these things play a very major role, because there are situations everywhere whenever you use what. See, I'll tell you, you have been at a particular place where you are having a conversation with one of your faculties, and the faculties might ask you, saying this, listen carefully to what I say, please write down what he says. These are some of the sentences using what that comes under when you are in the classroom, or whenever you're in the classroom, people might say, what are you doing? Just write down. Or what did he say? I'm not able to understand. What is he saying? I'm not able to understand. What are you telling me? I'm not able to understand. What was the last sentence that did you say, sir? So everywhere what is something which is being used. So what I have done, I have put all the word sentences and what sentences for you, so that you can note down and have a good conversation whenever you are talking with the friends. So please make sure you always use this word sentences, because this what will help you with what is something which you use everywhere, not at one particular time or one particular situation. Even if you're talking regularly on English, just what is something which helps you to put that in every sentences that you talk. So good that you practice more on this what. Okay. So now let us get introduced to the new word, that is which. Yes, this is also an amazing word, if you can see. But comparatively to what, which is not that much used, but yes, of course, which is a good thing that you can put into your brain when you are talking. So let me read these sentences for you. Which skirt do you like? Do you know which way to take? I mean, like, somebody have asked you the address and you will be telling this. Do you know which way to take? Which CD do you want to listen to? The driver told us which bus we should take. Which air conditioner do you think is the most efficient? I can think of some situations in which a knife would come in handy. She told me which clothes would be good to wear. She told me which clothes would be good to wear. The last one is, which season do you like the best? So if you can see, people, These are few of the most used sentences starting with which, and these will help you in understanding somebody who is listening to you on what perspective are you using which, because which is not being used. This is like more of question marks everywhere, you know, which table do you sit, or which place you are from, or which city you belong to. So these are some of the which sentences that come, and there's not much uses of which anyway, because you know hardly, you know, I don't know which location I have to go. So you know it's like very rarely used, and but never forget this which word, because it will help you in getting few things obviously, right? So let us see now a new word, that is where. If you can see, where is something which is very important, and we will be seeing few sentences which starts with where. So let us see the slide. We were surprised to hear the news. I didn't know you were such a good cook. I didn't know you were coming here either. Why were you absent from school yesterday? All the passengers were saved from drowning. There were a lot of empty seats that day I went. I can't believe that you were the smartest kid in your class. The children were so excited after the party that they couldn't help. And now we have another amazing sentence, and the word, that is who. Do you know who invented the microscope? He was the only one who came to the party. She needed someone who would understand her. I plan to hire someone who can speak English. Could you please tell me again who your father is? Tom isn't the only one who has to study. I have to study as well. Is it worth spending time trying to help people who don't want to be helped? It's a kind of tongue twister. You may give this photograph to anyone who wants it. So these are a few of the sentences that we can basically put up at the situation where you need to use who, you know. Who is one of the best words in questions that you can use it, right? At the same time, who is a word also, you know, who are you? Like, you know, who are you, where you're from, and what do you do? So you used all the three questions, isn't it? So I say you people, who is again a good question thing that you can use, because in conversation, questions and what questions to use at what time is also mandatory, because a one word can screw the entire sentence that you are pronouncing. So make sure you do it properly when you are pronouncing the words. All right. So, now let us see the next slide, which is there. What do they call their baby? All the players did their best. Children should obey their parents. Don't talk about people behind their backs. They fell in love the moment their eyes meet. They fell in love the moment their eyes met. Such a nice message. A lot of people are now trying to sell their houses. Very bad. 400 million people speak English as their first language. 400 million, that's not a joke. They had to change their schedule because the train arrived late. There is an urgent need for more people to donate their time and money. There is an urgent need for more people to donate their time and money. So these are the plural form, because whenever they use their, you usually go, to their place, because there are few of your friends over there and you go to their place. So this is what it means. So there is again a plural things and all, so which can basically help you out. So now I'll tell you about an important lesson, that is question tags. People know when to raise your voice and when to put up a question, because there will be a situation where you just have to put up a question and then you have to ask a question, or you have to raise the question mark, or you have to raise that dilemma in the other audience that he is asking me a question. So make sure whenever you are talking to somebody, there is an important subject called question tags in your communication, which helps you in giving a good communications levels whenever you are communicating. So let us see the slide here. Question tags. We use tags in spoken English but not in formal written English. They are not really questions but are a way of asking the other person to make the comment and so keep the conversation open. Making a tag is very mechanical. To make a tag, use the first auxiliary. If there is no auxiliary, use do, does, or did. With a positive sentence, make a negative tag, and with a negative sentence, makes a positive tag. It's a kind of tongue twister again. Now let me tell you examples. It's beautiful, isn't it? You can, can't you? You can, can't you? This is like encouraging, right? So people, whenever I speak about question tags, always remember that question tags are something where it is not basically a question that you are putting in front of the audience, but this is a particular situation. This is a particular situation where you basically will be making the audience come into an open conversation with you and so prolong it. So this is a basic easiest way to make the other person communicate with you, by raising up your voice and putting a question tag, which obviously which really helps in other person to have an amazing conversation start with you guys. So let us see some more question tags that we have as an examples here. So if you can see the slide, we have some question tags here. So let us see the slide. Jack is from Spain, isn't he? Mary can speak English, can't she? He's a doctor, isn't he? You work in a bank, don't you? I said that, didn't I? I am the fastest, aren't I? Open the window, will you? He shouldn't say things like that should be. The same again. He shouldn't say things like that, should he? They aren't funny, are they? You haven't met him, have you? She isn't coming, is she? They couldn't hear me, could they? You won't tell anyone, will you? So these are few of the question tags and the examples that we have whenever you are making the other person make sure that you are having a conversation with them, because question tags obviously doesn't put somebody into a proper dilemma or a situation. It just makes the other person feel that it is an open end trail version for them to have a conversation. So let us see once the slide here, if you can see. For example, let us imagine we have here, you know, you and your friend are having conversation and you have gone to a hospital. So you will be asking your friend, that you know, he's a doctor, isn't he? So when you speak that, you know, when you're in a dilemma, to make them ask, you know, when in a dilemma that you have seen a person with a white coat, you will be asking your friend, he's a doctor, isn't he? So at that particular situations, what will happen? You know, you are putting your friend in a situation where you are literally asking your friend that, you know, he's in a dilemma to make the person think, you know, or the person, you know, whenever you have asked, he's a doctor, isn't he? So your friend will be in a situation to have a conclusion about the doctor, and then he'll speak to you back. So these question tags will help the person to have a good conversation, open conversation, and so prolongs it, you know. For example, are you going to New York? Aren't you? You're going to New York, aren't you? So this happens to tell your friend more about New York. He got his visa, etc., etc. So this will make more nice conversations with the person, and obviously this will end up in a good conclusion that you will know you have a good conversation skill. So people, to have a good conversation, you should have good communication. So to have a good communication, you should know about the question tags, right? So all are interlinked tag by tag, and never forget anything, because all are important in the communication. So whenever you want to talk anything, you should learn everything in the communication skills. So thank you so much for listening to the class and being patient in listening to my class. Hope everybody have understood, and if you have any doubts, you can just post your comment below the video, and try practicing talking in English, because as much as you talk, as much as you get. So I am Kranth, and I'll be taking more classes for you on English, and thank you so much. I am from APSSDC.